officials will now be presented to Sir Walter Winterbottom, Honorary Vice President of the Football Association, who is accompanied on the arena by officials of the Football Association and the USSR Football Association.
There he is, Fred. Yes. VT, in case we don't get the shot again, that's a chap I'm going to refer to in the intro called George Scanlon, who might have to be slotted in if he's gone away by the time I get to him. Little Liverpool connection there.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthems of the USSR and England.
In his 2 years as England manager, this is the nearest Bobby Robson has come to fielding an unchanged team. 10 of the 11 who started the match in Scotland last week are available, and the enforced change is at number 9, where Tony Woodcock's hamstring injury means a recall for Trevor Francis. He and Luther Blissett will be hoping for productive service from the two wingers, number 7 Mark Chamberlain and number 11 John Barnes. Since the Soviet withdrawal from the Olympic Games, the new national team manager, Malafeyev, has recalled some of the experienced 1982 World Cup squad. You might recall goalkeeper Dasayev, the elegant captain and sweeper Chivadze at number 3, and at number 11, the most famous Soviet footballer of his generation, Oleg Blokhin, former European Player of the Year, the highest scorer in Soviet history at club and international level, and the only survivor from their team which lost to England in Moscow in 1973, the last time the two countries met at full international level. Indeed, Peter Shilton is the only England survivor from that occasion. It's his 60th cap today. That puts him one behind Ray Clements and within 13 of Gordon Banks, the most capped English goalkeeper of all time. And in a season like this, you can't keep Liverpool out of the limelight, because the interpreter with the Soviet Union team while they're here is George Scanlon, head of languages at Liverpool Polytechnic, himself once a Wembley goalscorer in his days at Cambridge University. We're now going to look for a decent shot of blocking. We would be grateful if you put a bit of that in, please, VT. Robson has taken his seat at the kickoff up in the grandstand. Give me him again, Fred, would you please? Bobby Robson's England squad leave next Wednesday for a 3-match tour of South America, playing in Brazil, Uruguay and Chile. Second line was better there, VT. Sorry about that. It's 17 years since the Soviet Union played here at Wembley. There was snow on the ground that night in 1967 and they drew 2-2. Today there's bright sunshine and immediately a free kick to the Soviet Union, who are playing in red shirts and white shorts. The left back is Demianenko, World Cup player, number 5. And he was trying to get past Luther Blissett. This is Baltashar. England using 2 wingers then. Mark Chamberlain is on the right-hand side. And the referee, very precise at the start. That's John Barnes on the left wing for England. Here's Blissett, and now Duxbury. Brian Robson, the England captain, wearing number 8. Number 6 is Fennick, well forward early on. Barnes coming in from the far side. Header away by Sulak Velidze. Who's the right back? From Dynamo Tbilisi. Played in Europe at West Ham, a memorable match. 1981. Graham Roberts, letting Wilkins take over. And this referee is going to punish, it would seem, the technical offences. That was a foul by Baltachar on Blissett. Roberts has made his way forward for the free kick. He's gone to the far side of the area. Wilkins took it, and Roberts is coming in now, gets ahead to it. Now Shivadze, the sweeper for the Soviet Union. Number 3. It's a good ball out to Oganeshin, the left-sided midfield player, number 8, into Demyanenko. Plenty of runners up front here, and Roberts being tested as Rodionov goes through and turned in, and a great chance actually for Litvichenko, who must surely look back on that and think he should have scored. Rodionov was the man who made it, number 10, but when he brushed his way past Graham Roberts here, and as he got a left foot attempt in, Litvichenko just needed a touch there to put the ball in. Francis fouled. So an early scare for England here. Francis taking it back to Robson, and now it's Chamberlain. Inside again to Robson. Francis coming towards the near post. And a corner given. Just looking for Terry Fennick a bit on these corners. He's got a good record as a set-piece defender. Coming up, number 6. And Blissett letting the ball run, and it's a corner again. These are being taken by Barnes with his left foot from the right-hand side. Graham Roberts has occupied the near-post area. And Roberts causing trouble there, and there's a chance for Robson perhaps. Hooked away though by Alyenikov. And Duxbury having to hurry to stop blocking. Rodionov, Sulak Velidze. Ray Wilkins to John Barnes in good space here. There are 2 to his right. Nearly the Watford connection of old there. Barnes looking for Blissett. They know each other so well. And that's the sort of service England will expect. They want Barnes and Chamberlain to get into advanced positions and get their crosses in. The England coach Don Howe, now the manager of Arsenal. Zigmantovic. Blissett. Taking on Baltachar. Barnes supporting. A goal kick. Oh, what a mistake, Barnes. Oh, that's a let-off for the Soviet Union. Shivadze brought the ball out in the end. Here's Oganeshin. Well, England are pushing 4 forwards up the field, and when the Soviet Union get the ball, they appear to be relying on 3 outright attackers. Forward by Wilkins. Francis. Demyanenko. Switch of play in the Soviet attack here. The number 9, Zigmantovic, has drifted away to the right, and he's left room in the centre for Rodionov coming in. He's the young number 10 from Moscow, Spartak. Here's Blissett to Francis, and Robson now, and John Barnes. Touched back by Francis to Robson. Nice little delicate ball back into Francis. He's got Chamberlain wide. Alyenikov came over. Chamberlain. And Chivadze in the way. Oganesyan. Little touch there by Francis to Roberts. And here's Brian Robson. Thought about a shot. Then into Blissett. Trying to get past Sulak Velidze. He's found Barnes. And it was that said defender who blocked the attempt. Kenny Sansom to John Barnes. Nice turn. And a nice cross. And Dasayev commanding. And Oganesyan. Wilkins. And foul there by Brian Robson. Alyenikov, who's very much like Alan Sunderland facially. He, in fact, is a midfield player, though, Alyenikov. Into Oganesyan, who's also in that area for the Soviet side. And Chivadze, who'll want to come forward when he can in his traditional style, the number 3. England know about that danger. And that's blocking, trying to cut off the pass. Keep an eye on Chivadze. That was a foul by Baltachar on Francis, who takes it quickly to Robson. Now Chamberlain. Robson into Blissett. Chamberlain. Francis. And Sulak Velidze intercepting a poor pass. And the Soviet Union with players to spare on the left-hand side. Oganesyan. Demyanenko leaving it for blocking. Luther Blissett gets the free kick. Just over 10 minutes gone here at Wembley. Here's Barnes. It's an experienced back four the Soviet team have brought here today. They all played in the World Cup, and indeed the goalkeeper behind them did also. Quite a test for England's new look attack. Litvichenko. Rodionov. And the same two combining again. Rodionov. Litvichenko, the number 7, is going to stick mainly to the outside right position from the way the match has gone early on. Kenny Sansom with the defender closest to him. Kenny Sansom this afternoon winning his 41st cap for England. Still only 25. Oganesyan. England lost that in midfield, but it's up for grabs again now, rather. Demianenko. Oganesyan. Sulak-Velidze. Rodionov's the player in the centre-forward position. Duxbury with the volleyed clearance. Nice pass by Baltachar out to Demianenko. And here's Barnes. Lisset. Sansom. Wilkins. Terry Fenwick. Robson. Wilkins. He scored a very good goal in midweek in the testimonial match at Tottenham, Ray Wilkins, and he's playing with a lot of confidence just lately. Yanikov. Sulak-Velidze. Scott Litvichenko making a run just inside. Blokhin's made his run across the face of the area, and it may run on to Oganesyan. Yanikov. Oganesyan. Demianenko's cross, easy for Shilton. The Russian Soviet coach watching there from the bench. Not all Russians in this team, of course. The Georgians and those from other parts of the Soviet Union don't like that description. It's only the Muscovites, really, who would generally qualify for that description. In fact, Malafeyev there, the coach on the right, was the team coach at Dynamo Minsk before getting the Olympic job, and now the national team manager's post. Francis. Chamberlain. This is Fenwick. Lisset goes up. Sulak-Velidze wasn't sure. Here's John Barnes. Well, John Barnes is still to score for England after 8 appearances. And I think the feeling of his club manager, Graham Taylor, may be that he's got to be a little bit more assertive at international level. He's always very confident when he's playing for Watford. And the chance cropped up there, and he was perhaps trying to chip it for the far corner with his right foot. Nice flick on there by Rodionov. Fenwick in the way. Duxbury. Francis. Oh, a nice turn. Opens things up a little bit for Robson. Maybe for Sansom. Or for Barnes. Well, he's an experienced fullback, Sulak-Velidze. Wouldn't think Barnes can skip past him too easily, too often. Shivadze. Soviets have got Zigmantovic receiving attention just over the touchline there. And it's an interception by Terry Fenwick. now Chamberlain. Inside Demianenko, a chance. Dasayev saves. And Chivadze got there faster than Blissett to the rebound. And that brought Wembley to life. Mark Chamberlain seeing his chance to go inside the fullback on his left foot, something that Bobby Robson talked to him about earlier in the season, about improving his left foot play, and brought a save out of Dasayev. Chamberlain with the throw, and Dasayev has come all the way. And the Soviet team is going to have to be reorganised early in the game, because Zigmantovic is about to be substituted. Chivadze, Alyanikov, Rodionov, and safely through to Shilton. And Gotsmanov is warming up, number 15. Here's Ray Wilkins, Francis, and now Barnes. And still John Barnes, and two defenders at full stretch. Well, that was a good effort by Mark Chamberlain. He saw the gap inside Demianenko, and he went for it. Dasayev, the goalkeeper, made a good stop with his right hand there, going to his right. That was a good save. Blocking. And the foul was by Terry Fennick. And off goes Zigmantovic, heavily bandaged. And he'll be replaced by Gotsmanov with less than 20 minutes gone. Ganeshan into the wall. Now can England break here? Robson had to go back. There was nobody further down the right-hand side. Here's Graham Roberts. And now Barnes into Francis. Ray Wilkins taking over eagerly, looking for Blissett. Defender is Baltachar. And still Blissett. Certainly some progressive forward play by England. They're looking for the spaces in this Soviet defence, and they're prepared to attack them, it would seem. And there's Rodionov. Blocking waiting in the centre, so are two others. And Roberts tangling with Rodionov, and Ogianeshin's found a terrific position if they can square it, and they couldn't. But it's not over yet, it's offside now. If the referee sees the linesman's flag, which he hasn't, Gotsmanov. There goes Blissett. Sansom joining the attack. Here's Sansom again. Chivadze hasn't had a chance yet to come forward as he likes to do, because with England playing 4 full-time forwards, the Soviet defenders are pretty occupied. Alyanikov to Gotsmanov. And Rodionov. Chamberlain back as a defender. Not the best of clearances either. Chivadze will pick this up and he'll probably continue his run. Alyanikov. Here's Chivadze. Alyanikov again. Long line of players drifting out slowly here. Rodionov, though, for the Soviet Union. They're looking for an offside here, England. But Blokhin is onside. And Chivadze again. The Soviet team building up a spell here of good passing. Oganeshin trying to get the final ball through to the substitute, Gotsmanov. But they've shown in the past that they've got more flair than Soviet teams of old. Here's Wilkins. And now it's Robson. Played for Francis. And it was Alyanikov who stopped him. Only once have England lost to the Soviet Union at full international level. That was in the 1958 World Cup in Gothenburg. Only one defeat for England in 7 previous meetings. Oganeshin, and there's runners here. Blokhin. Rodionov is waiting in the centre. And it was pulled back behind him, and fortunately for England it was able to be cleared by Fennick. Now it's Wilkins. It's a dangerous moment then. Barnes impeded by Sulak Velidze. Ray Wilkins. Off the chest of Francis to Blissett. And now Chamberlain. Wilkins is in the penalty area. Alyanikov's was the foul. There's Fennick waiting. Kick there, and it was seen by the referee. Surely he was facing it. Trevor Francis, the player, kicked by Baltachar, and that was completely off the ball. There'd been a bit of a block on the run from the free kick actually earlier than that. That's what the aggravation was about. But when Francis turned, he was quite clearly and candidly kicked by Baltachar, and the referee speaks to both players. Francis to Blissett. Blokhin to Demianenko. Alyanikov. Litvichenko. On the shoulder of Duxbury. Francis. Baltachar. Here's Demianenko. Blissett. Francis. Just Barnes up with him at the moment on that side. The other two are a long way off, nearer to us. But Barnes might find Robson coming into the penalty area, and it took a very good header by Demianenko to stop him there. That's Robson's forte, arriving from a deep position. John Barnes was the provider. And Ray Wilkins will take the corner. The throw made Fenwick turn. He did so successfully. He kept his balance too. And that was a mistake by Chamberlain. Blocking got a foot to it. Here's Oganessian, and Blocking goes for a return, and it was a cover which Kenny Sansom had to make. Chamberlain, when he's got into defensive positions, has seemed a little unaware at times. And Wilkins will find Duxbury. Wilkins again, and Duxbury goes through. Wouldn't quite come down for him. Alyanikov. Oganessian. Rodionov waiting for a possible through pass. Gotsmanov. And that was a deflected cross. It came actually off Fenwick into Shilton's arms. And so Wilkins for England. Barnes has made a good run here, but the pass not one of Wilkins' best. They're certainly trying to give John Barnes the service he would like and expect. Rodionov chasing a long pass from Baltachar. The use of the long ball has been a feature of Soviet football. The club sides Dynamo Kiev, who Baltachar plays for, and Spartak Moscow and Dynamo Tbilisi are all very good on the break. And that, when the French referee has retrieved the ball, will be a throw to England. It was a foul throw. Chamberlain. Wilkins. Well, 30 minutes gone. Match hasn't been dramatic, to say the least. There have been some absorbing midfield battles, but we want something a bit more lively up front, which perhaps Chamberlain can provide. Got four others up with him. And the referee decides that Chivadze's challenge was fair, so it's the sweeper who brings the ball out for the Soviet Union. Good distribution. Gotsmanov, and Chivadze still forward. Look at this. His cross looking for Rodionov. That's typical of Chivadze. West Ham supporters and Liverpool fans will remember him. Not to mention a few Scots from the World Cup, when he scored in that 2-2 draw. Oganessian. Alyanikov. And now Wilkins, a good pass to Francis. Robson is well forward, and here's Chamberlain. Oh, he's held them up really well. There's a pigeon trying to play outside left for the Soviet Union just at the moment, and Chamberlain skipped past it very neatly as he went down the wing. Anyway, here is the outside left, Gotsmanov. Perhaps the pigeon could have passed the ball rather better than that. Wilkins. And Robson. Chamberlain. Away from Demianenko. Duxbury. But Robson in turning lost possession. Fenwick won it back. Barnes with Sulak Velidze. And Shevadze, the sweeper, is now in the centre-forward position. An interesting ploy this by the Soviets. That's his pass, and it's on to Rodionov. Shevadze stays forward. And Rodionov's shot is blocked. But he does take up some interesting positions, this sweeper, Shevadze. Baltachar away from Blissett. Gotsmanov. Rodionov is just inside him. It was Gotsmanov who fouled Sansom. Alan Hodgkinson nearer the camera, the goalkeeping coach who's assisting the England team at the moment. And Chris Woods, the reserve keeper, is on the far side. Francis. Oh, it's all a bit heavy. It's been a close duel so far. Maybe something from a set play will open up the game. Barnes and Wilkins normally operating on these free kicks on England's left. Blissett, and Wilkins taking it on again. Triangular movement here, obviously planned by England as they've rehearsed these set plays. Barnes into Blissett and back for Wilkins. Sulak Velidze. Oh, there's a chance there, but Roberts with the defender beaten, and Shilton able to come to meet the threat of Litvichenko. Centre of the England defence, still an area where there are plenty of possibilities because so many players are unavailable currently. The likes of Butcher and Mark Wright, Alvin Martin. Litvichenko. Duxbury. We've 10 minutes left in the first half and the score is 0-0. Blissett, oh, that's a good ball. Chamberlain. Francis and Barnes in the centre. Blissett's joining them now. Duxbury in support. Litvichenko. Sulak Velidze. Gotsmanov. Just wonder whether Brian Robson might feel he took the ball there, but referee has awarded a free kick, which Sulak Velidze is preparing to take. The Soviets with 3 players lined up on the 18-yard line. There'll be a fourth now. And Duxbury's header out. Oganeshin, Demianenko. And the slip was by Rodionov, and it gave Graham Roberts a chance to intercept and give Francis the ball, and Roberts has gone through on the left-hand side. That's his cross, but it's behind Luther Blissett. England's final pass still lacking, and the Soviet Union have produced a good one here to Blokhin. Robson trying to get back, and Blokhin drove into the side netting, but it just showed, even now he's in his 30s, how quick and dangerous this fellow still is. Robson actually drove him sensibly wide. Here's Chamberlain. And Blissett. Now can England produce something here? They've got 4 waiting for a cross. Those crosses up to now have not been quite good enough. Gotsmanov. It's a good run. Oganessian's pulled away to the far side. It's a good effort, and Shilton forced to make a very good save. It was a tidy move by the Soviet Union. Gotsmanov made the run on the left, and Oganessian had sensibly pulled back behind the last defender. He saw the possibilities here of turning inside and chipping for Shilton to make a good one-handed save, but England have got Ray Wilkins down injured, and he may need attention before we can have the corner. Well, 29-year-old Oganessian is a good goal scorer. He got the winner against Belgium in the last World Cup finals, and that chip, my word, that was a brilliant save by Peter Shilton. Sulak Velidze had joined blocking at the far post, but Roberts was able to clear. There's no England player up there. They'd all come back to defend. Alyanikov. Sulak Velidze. Alyanikov again, blocking. Sulak Velidze. And now Gotsmanov, and Oganessian was hovering again as Robson and then Barnes cleared. Francis is able to turn here. Blissett away on the left. That's a good effort to find him by Francis. And John Barnes is coming up hard in support here, but he may have to go alone. They're still waiting for support. It's a corner, which was the best he could have got in that position, I fancy. Swift counter-attack by England, made possible by a fine ball from Trevor Francis. And with 5 minutes left in the first half, England sending Francis onto the line. And Roberts up with Darsayev. Here's Sansom. Duxbury. Barnes moving down the left. Here's Francis. Barnes inside. But again, he couldn't get past the last defender. That was Chivadze on that occasion, who's playing awfully well at the back, number 3. He's now come forward again, in fact, in this attack. Here's Gotsmanov. And Levertichenko. Oganessian. Gotsmanov now in the centre-forward position, but a poor lay-off from him. And England have a chance to get away again here. It's Barnes. Settled for the short pass to Wilkins. And asking rather a lot of Barnes to go for the return. Sulak Velidze reading it easily. Here's Demianenko. Beat Brian Robson there. 10 is Rodionov. There's a flick by Francis. Rodionov. Demyanenko. Blocking. The final pass is what's been missing at both ends for the most part. Here's Luther Blissett, but he's found Barnes. Seems to break down there more often than not. Just when England start to get into the last third of the field. That's Rodionov, and he made room brilliantly there, but Shilton was so quick up his line. Francis. These astute through passes are beginning to worry the England defence. Rodionov latched onto that one. He shook off the defenders extremely well, but look how quick Shilton was to see that that was his ball. And on the break for England, it's Luther Blissett. Who was fouled by Sulak Velidze. And England needing something now to establish superiority at the end of the first half. Barnes takes the free kick, Francis goes in, Baltachar with the clearing header. Rodionov knocking it on, Blocking. This could be dangerous if Rodionov gets onto this, and he has. Rodionov is clean through against Shilton. And he's still there, is Rodionov, and Sansom had to make the last challenge on Oguneshin, but the England goalkeeper excels himself again. 3 outstanding saves now. Well, Rodionov, who's a good young player from Spartak Moscow, normally a reliable finisher, the angle wasn't brilliant for him, but look how Shilton stood up and made the attacker make the decision. Sansom then covered well. Terrific goalkeeping by most people's #1 in the world. The man at the other end might disagree with that, Dasayev. He's got his admirers, and indeed we've got 2 of the best goalkeepers around on view this afternoon at Wembley. Oh, and a mistake here, and Shilton comes again to save Mizivachenko. Kenny Sansom, who was unsure initially. Here's Gotsmanov. Soviets are playing well in this spell of the game. Oguneshin. Demyanenko. Taking on Duxbury. Oh, and Sansom did just enough there against Gotsmanov. He had to jump with him. Interesting piece of defending that by Kenny Sansom. The other England fullback, Mike Duxbury's had some critics this week about allowing players to get in front of him for headers. Well, certainly on that occasion, his partner on the other flank, Kenny Sansom, made absolutely sure that that wasn't going to happen to him. So Bobby Robson relieved to see Peter Shilton in such fine form. We're in stoppage time at the end of the first half at Wembley. No score. And here's Luther Blissett. That's well played by Blissett. Oh, the goalkeeper got a hand to it, and Barnes couldn't reach the rebound. And the referee brings to a close the first half, notable for the goalkeeping of Rinat Dasayev at one end in the Soviet goal, and the brilliant Peter Shilton for England. They're the reason the score is 0-0, and right on half-time there, Luther Blissett, a fine attempt from not the best of angles. He went for the far corner, but Dasayev's long right arm stretched out and saved his side. But in fairness, that's only what Shilton has done earlier for England on at least 3 occasions, so the half-time score is England 0, Soviet Union 0. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, marvellous. Marvellous, yes. Should I do it over a shot of Bobby? Or no, maybe I better not. No, I better not. It will give him too long a bridge if I do. Worth mentioning as the Soviet Union start the second half that when they've been at full strength, they've only lost 2 out of their last 38 internationals over a 4-year period. Brazil beat them in the World Cup, you'll remember, after the Soviets had led 1-0, and they lost to a disputed penalty to Portugal in the European Championship qualifiers. Here's Blissett. Demianenko. Wembley bathed in sunshine. The header is by Litvichenko, and this is Kenny Sansom. Duxbury into Francis. Oh, Chamberlain looking for Wilkins. And the cross dying, rather. There's blocking. Chamberlain getting back to intercept. 2 managers have agreed that they can use up to 3 outfield substitutes in this friendly, so England are quite at liberty to make changes should they wish to. Barnes. In fact, on the England subs bench, for the record, some uncapped players. Gary Stevens, Mark Haitley and Dave Watson, as well as Steve Hunt, who's had just 1 cap. And the goalkeeper, Chris Woods, also uncapped at full level. Here's Oganessian for the Soviet Union. There's Gotsmanov. Demianenko. Here's Sulak Velidze. Rodionov. And Sulak Velidze again. Litvichenko. Alyenikov. Oganessian. Robson was stretching to make his tackle. Here's Blokhin. And Blissett bustling away there to get England in motion. Chamberlain didn't quite collect the back heel. Wilkins didn't manage to get the ball either, although he will get a free kick. And Bobby Robson may feel that in playing 2 wingers, and being bold enough to have 4 out-and-out attackers, he's putting a lot of responsibility on Ray Wilkins and Brian Robson in midfield, and that's why sometimes England may be getting bypassed in that area. Chamberlain, Robson, good movement again from the Soviet side. This is Oganessian. Really do spread the play around well when they're given space. Alyenikov's coming through from midfield. Oganessian, Roberts heading clear, and Wilkins a poor pass straight to Demianenko. And that's not very good either. The Soviet season is already 3 months old, the new season there, because they have obviously a long midwinter break and start again in March. So these players should be fresher by and large than those from England. This is John Barnes. Rodionov. Oganessian, this could be dangerous. They do like to push players on for the through ball from these positions. That wasn't the best of passes. In fact, it was hopeless, really, but the other forwards complaining. But that's been the type of build-up from which they've launched their best attacks. So here's Wilkins. Francis pulling away to the right-hand side. Duxbury's moved forward too. Well, a goal would do an awful lot to enhance the enjoyment of this game. Here's Fennick. Mustn't forget the good saves we've seen, mind you. Here's Roberts. Fennick. Oh, Duxbury here. Baltacher coming across. Well, England haven't found goals easy to come by in recent internationals. What can Francis do here? Back to Chamberlain. And they're relying on the wingers to get the service in, and at least they forced a corner there. Well, Chamberlain did. Barnes has gone across to take it. Roberts in the near post position. And Blissett up with Dasayev, who's untroubled, and releases Rodionov with a very good throw. And they're bringing 3 others forward, the Soviets. Blokhin is hovering dangerously on the far side. Oganessian is there. This is Blokhin. But from his point of view, a poor cross. And Blokhin again. Blissett coming short to collect Wilkins' pass. Handball will give England a free kick, which Francis takes quickly. John Barnes perhaps being encouraged to wander a little now. Francis. That's well done, but it's too long for Blissett. Litvichenko for the Soviet Union. Oh, and Duxbury slipped badly there. And Gotsmanov has put the Soviet Union into the lead. Sergei Gotsmanov, the scorer, after a bad slip by Mike Duxbury, consoled by Ray Wilkins. And after 53 minutes, the Soviet Union, from the type of through ball they've been exploiting so well, are in the lead. But Duxbury was favourite to collect that until he slipped, and Gotsmanov was in. Shilton began to come, but the finish was good. So, bad luck on Mike Duxbury, and England go a goal behind. Peter Shilton has performed miracles at the other end in the first half, but when Gotsmanoff got away there from Duxbury, there wasn't very much the England goalkeeper could do about that. Bobby Robson's team then having to come from behind, as they did in Scotland last week, but here's another dangerous Soviet attack. And Samson trying to ward off blocking this time. Rodionov. Samson. And now here's Chamberlain. There are two up with him. He went nicely past Demianenko. Didn't get the luck of the rebound off Chivadze. And Mike Duxbury having a somewhat difficult time in the number 2 shirt for England. Bobby Robson's seen 1 or 2 goals going on that flank, or rather when he's been covering further in. Roberts. Barnes driven against Sulak Velidze for a corner. And England will want to reply quickly here before the Soviets can settle on their lead. Corner taken short to Kenny Sansom. And now Wilkins. So 10 minutes into the second half, and the game opened up by an England mistake. Wilkins, Barnes. Defender getting in front of his goalkeeper there and clearing for a corner. It was Chivadze, in fact, number 3. Barnes trying to get a foot to it. Corner again, says the French referee. Well, they sometimes say that teams are vulnerable when they've just scored, and England fans will be hoping that's the case with the Soviet Union here. Sansom. Wilkins. And the ricochet may end up with Luther Blissett. Robson. Oh dear, Gotsmanoff now. And the Soviets can break again. Blocking is waiting in the centre. And Gotsmanoff is blocked off by Brian Robson, who actually made up well for his own poor pass, which put the opposition in possession. Francis. There's Wilkins. Well, England looking more than ever now to their wide players to stretch the Soviet defence. They've committed themselves to a 4-2-4 and they find themselves a goal behind. Fennick is well forward in this attack. Goal kick given. Brian Robson and Blissett. Gotsmanoff, the scorer, one of those players pushed through from the Olympic team by Malafeov, the national manager. It's a mixture, this Soviet side, of World Cup players with experience and what were the Olympic hopefuls before the withdrawal. Here's blocking. Chamberlain for England. And he's on his way now. There are 3 others up with him and 2 coming from midfield. Chamberlain's cross, well taken. And the long kick by Desailly gives an awkward bounce for Graham Roberts. Good run by Mark Chamberlain. Wilkins. This is Francis. Tucked inside for Barnes. Not much gets past Chivadze. Sansom to Francis. Chamberlain is coming in on the cross. And this is blocking. Fennick. Forward to Blissett. Wilkins. Barnes. And return to John Barnes by Francis, and Sulak Velidze sliding in to concede a corner. With an hour gone, England's corner count mounting. After an even first half, England have now had 9 corners. And Wilkins will curl this one in. And that's Roberts up, and Francis also up, and volleyed away by the goal scorer, Gotsmanov. Here's John Barnes. Into Blissett. Here's Kenny Sansom. Crosses just not finding their target, and the Soviet team so good at breaking from these positions. This is Demianenko. Oganessian came inside to make room further out. Rodionov. Litvichenko with a chance, but he spooned that shot off the outside of his foot. Another enterprising break by the Soviet team. It was swift and incisive. The ball rolled out by Rodionov, but Litvichenko well wide. And this England midfield, the 2-man tandem of Robson and Wilkins, finding it hard going in there. Neither making a real impression on the match. Sulak Velidze. Rodionov. There's Chamberlain. Oganessian. Good running by Rodionov in the centre. Roberts trying to get to him. Oganessian is coming through, and Roberts did get there. Wholesome piece of defending. Wilkins. Sulak Velidze in the way. Robson. Brian Robson not having the best of days in that England midfield. And the last player you want to bring the ball out of that area is Chivadze. Rodionov. Demianenko. Litvichenko. Oh, well, the whistle's gone, actually. The ball already out before he crossed it, but that was a bit close, actually. And Litvichenko thought he'd supplied a cross from which Rodionov might well have made it 2-0. Not much in that. So, England finding themselves a goal behind here, and desperately in need of some inspiration further forward, or indeed from midfield. Here's Blissett. Litvichenko. Sulak-Velidze. And Chivadze now has a spell at centre forward for a few minutes. He is an all-round customer. And the crowd demanding something more of England now. I think they're entitled to. This is Robson. Chamberlain. And he's being picked off, is Chamberlain. Indeed, the Soviets appear to have coped with the threat from the two wings fairly capably, and on the England bench they'll be wondering perhaps about a change. Steve Hunt is the player likely to come on for England. Alienikov to Sulak-Velidze. Litvichenko. Oganeshin. Demianenko, he's got some space in front of him here. And he's still charging on. Tackle in the end that mattered was Roberts. Now Wilkins looks up and there's two running, one of which is Blissett. And still Blissett. And that'll be a corner to England. And as it is, it's also going to be an England substitution. And where does this leave the experiment with wingers? Because the man going off is John Barnes, who was about to go over and take a corner, he thought, but he's being replaced by Steve Hunt of West Bromwich Albion, who comes on for his second substitute appearance. There are in fact 24 minutes left. England are a goal behind, so Wilkins will take the corner instead and plays it short to Duxbury. Wilkins again. Oh, and Dasayev elects to punch, and Hunt will get a throw here. Just come on. Francis. Hunt is a left-sided player. But the goalkeeper hasn't had too much difficulty with crosses, mostly unchallenged, and a very commanding presence anyway. And Mark Haitley looks as though he's going to win his first full cap and gets instructions from the manager. Robson. And the ball for Blokhin, so dangerous. He's curled it against the post. The Soviet master of sport, who's played brilliantly across the world over the last 10 years, Oleg Blokhin, beautifully there. He turned inside and chipped that shot against the post with Shilton scrambling. Blissett. Francis. Chamberlain. And Sulak-Velidze came across to make an important tackle. But when they break out of midfield, this Soviet team can produce the telling pass and at times a breathtaking finish, which we saw then from Blokhin. Rodionov the target this time. was a moment of skill the Wembley crowd won't forget in a hurry. A memorable moment from one of Europe's finest players. Rodionov. He's got some skill too, the number 10. Alyenikov on to Litvichenko. Now Blokhin. And Blokhin on his left foot again. And the deflection for Oganessian, offside. No goal. Blokhin again, the provider. And Wilkins gives him a consoling pat. The man who put the ball in the back of the net was in fact the number 8, Oganessian. But he was offside, and so England breathe again, and here's Terry Fenwick. Sansom. Wilkins. It's when they intercept in these positions, it's Demianenko on this occasion that the Soviet side looks so threatening. Blokhin once more having a good match now. He's come into it more in the second half. And the scorer of the disallowed goal, Oganessian. But the cheers are for the appearance of Mark Haitley, who will be on shortly. Litvichenko. Sulak Belitsa. Oganessian making a little run across the box. He's offside again. So the man going off, Trevor Francis, and the man coming on, Mark Haitley. It's his first cap for international level, and that means he's the 35th player used by Bobby Robson in 8 England matches this season. That's some statistic, but it's explained by the fact that there are 19 others unavailable today. Now, have we gone back now then to the traditional tall centre-forward, which English coaches by and large prefer to use? Paul Mariner unavailable, of course, so Mark Haitley is that sort of character, good target man. He's calling now for the high cross, and he might give Dasayev more difficulty than the others. Sansom. And in comes Haitley and immediately disturbs the composure of the goalkeeper. He fouled him as well, but Dasayev's life is going to be made rather more tempestuous if we can get crosses in like the one here from Kenny Sansom. Old-fashioned hoof, but the big centre-forward prevents the goalkeeper from reaching it. And Haitley again. Wilkins, Roberts, Fenwick. This is Chamberlain. Now there is a very definite target now in the centre if Mark Chamberlain can find Haitley. And perhaps Blissett can play off him as he used to play off a big centre forward at Watford. Here is Blissett. This is Wilkins' cross, and Haitley was contesting it. Here's Steve Hunt. It's a decent chip, but Dasayev favourite there. And look at that clearance by the goalkeeper. Puts Oganessian in possession, facing the England goal. Duxbury trying to check the runner out on the left-hand side, but Sulak Belitsa joins the attack. Rodionov. Litvichenko. Duxbury with Gotsman off there, and Blokhin's in a threatening position as well against Duxbury, and Oganessian and over the head of Litvichenko. Quite an open match now. This is Alyenikov. And Rodionov from a pass by Blokhin. And Alyenikov. That's going to be a goal kick, but there was a lovely move there between Blokhin and Rodionov, which serves to show that this experienced Soviet side, with Blokhin the fulcrum of the attack, just know a thing or two too much at times for the England defence. Mind you, the cover was on there when the cross came in. So England have used two substitutes. Hunt and Haitley are on. And the Soviet Union have a free kick. Shivadze short to Oganesyan, who's had a good match in midfield. Sulak Golidze. Sanson. And Haitley starts a run down the left. He's appealing but getting nothing. Shivadze. Oganesyan. And helped on again by the inevitable Blokhin, who's giving Mike Duxbury quite a chasing. He's injured in that last challenge though, Blokhin. 15 minutes to go and the Soviet Union 1-0 up and looking for their first ever win at full international level in England. Here's Roberts, touched on by Blissett. England have been beaten at Wembley by foreign opponents on 10 previous occasions. Can they prevent the Soviet Union adding their name to the list? This is Mark Chamberlain. Certainly the Soviet coach Malafeyev will be pleased with the way things have gone up to now, although his team might well have been further ahead. Here's Fennick. Sansom's well forward. Here's Haitley. And he got it down. Rodionov. And he's taken a stiff challenge from Graham Roberts. Haitley is 22 and has scored 31 senior goals this season, 25 for Portsmouth and 6 for the England under-21s. The crowd trying to launch an England revival in the last quarter of an hour. Rodionov. Alyenikov. And Brian Robson intercepts the pass from Litvichenko. Chamberlain to Blissett. Potsman off with the tackle. Oganesyan. Tricky little player. And they've got support here for him right and left. And Fennick will have to cut this down as Blokhin comes in, and it fizzes across the goal. The move initiated by the man who thought he might get on the end of it there, Oganesyan, but Blokhin says, well, you can drive them from those angles and hope for the best. Another good, swift move by the Soviet team. Could so easily have put them 2 goals clear, and then surely England couldn't get back. As it is, there's still hope. Wilkins. This is Hunt. And Fennick comes through. And the referee decides that Alyenikov checked him there. So this Wembley crowd of just over 38,000 wondering whether England can still get back into the match. It's a free kick in a promising position. They're asking for the 10 yards. Robson left it for Fenwick and the wall did its job. Oh, that was a bit tight. Ray Wilkins didn't give Fenwick much chance with the pass, and here's Gotsmanov. And just the Soviet players are on the far side completely free, 4 of them. Actually, Chamberlain did get back to challenge Oganessian, and the indomitable spirit of Graham Roberts helped England out of difficulties. This is Hunt. Haitley staying onside there, timing his run well. Could so easily have been 2-0 again there a moment ago because England were outnumbered, which is understandable when you think they're committed now to pushing forward, looking for an equaliser. Quite come to terms with Oganessian in the middle of the field. Robson to Wilkins. Blissett. Hunts to his left. Haitley far post, the cross might do. Bodies all over the place, but the ball safely in the arms of Dasayev. Well, if play set up by Blissett, if Hunt could have chipped that ball higher and further, Mark Haitley might have got on the end of the cross. 10 minutes left. Oganessian for the Soviet Union. Baltachar. Litvichenko. Robson from Roberts' pass. Forward by Duxbury for Blissett. Chamberlain. Wilkins to Duxbury. And Haitley's there. And he'd appreciate any sort of service in the air. And the tactics have got to change a little now with the substitution. This is Haitley's header. Blissett turning them. Wilkins. And Haitley. Good power in the shot. Certainly tested the reactions of Dasayev and in fact bounced back off him. And just look at that ball, pumped forward for Blockeen, and Graham Roberts is stretched to reach him. Blockeen did brilliantly. And Roberts brought him down. And what does the referee do? Does he award the Soviet Union a penalty for the tackle by Graham Roberts on Oleg Blockeen? But in fact, he chooses instead to take up a position on the far side of the penalty area, having looked closely at his linesman, and the Soviet team, somewhat confused, have only got a corner. So let's see what happens from this before debating whether that should have been a penalty. Corner to be taken by number 7, Litvichenko. Oh, and Rodionov came to the near post. And Blissett turned the ball nicely inside, but the return pass from Haitley is going nowhere. certainly not into the path of the player who he was looking for. Gotsmanov, the scorer of the goal which still separates the two teams. Here's Oganessian. Brian Robson challenging him. Here's Sulak Velidze. Vitovichenko, that's a good-looking ball. Rodionov. Challenge was by Fenech. Wilkins, across to Hunt. Now Chamberlain trying his luck in the inside left position. Sansom. And here's Hunt, and there are two waiting in the centre, but what will happen instead is another Soviet Union substitution. The man going off is number 6, Alyanikov. And the man coming on to replace him is number 13, Boris Potnyakov from Spartak Moscow. This substitution taking place with 5 minutes left. Potnyakov, very much a defensive player, which is understandable with the Soviets leading 1-0. Here's Kenny Sansom. The East Europeans have always used substitutes in a rather different fashion to British teams. They're going to make another change in a minute. Very late in the day, that's Wilkins playing it forward. And here's Oganessian. Wilkins for England. Is there life left yet in this England team? Turned on by Blissett. Only 4 minutes to go. Demianenko's made a run down the left. Duxbury cut the ball out. Chamberlain. Well, he got past 2, but not past 3, and then he was a little late with his challenge, but the Soviet Union now wanting to make their third change. Rodionov is going off after having had a good match up front, and he'll be replaced by an emerging young striker, Oleg Protasov, 20 years old, from the champions Dnieper, surprising winners of the Soviet League last season, and indeed leading it again this season. So on comes Protasov. So 3 minutes left now. Just about time to get used to the two new names, I would think. But here's Ray Wilkins for England. Kenny Sansom's taken up a good position. This is Blissett, but the ball run away from Luther Blissett just when he'd hoped for a bit of luck in the penalty area. And there hasn't been much of that for England. Just wanting something to break for them at this stage with time running out, and Blissett found the ball going away from him there. Here's Wilkins, and Chamberlain is out wide. And Wilkins shooting shots here. Good compact goalkeeping that. Wilkins shot. But if the ball had come back off Dasayev, then Mark Haitley might well have scored. Couple of minutes left, and it's Oganessian for the Soviet Union. Thumped across towards Litovichenko, who couldn't have brought that down very easily. Well, Well, this could be a moment of Soviet football history, their first victory at Wembley. Unless England can produce some drama in the last couple of minutes. Kenny Sansom. Fennick. This is Chamberlain. Chamberlain's cross. And Roberts lofts one out towards Haitley, who can't get to it. And the Wembley crowd, who have barracked previous England managers, just starting to let Bobby Robson know what they feel about it, but there are mitigating factors here which many of them would appreciate, surely. It's a good Soviet team, this, actually, and a makeshift England one, and that has got to be put down if the match is going to be seen in context. Sulak Velidze. We're in stoppage time. The Soviet Union lead 1-0. Protasov headed the ball on, and blocking is in here. Good save by Shilton, and the follow-up goes in by Protasov. Right at the end. Well, 2-0 now to the Soviet Union. Their victory assured. Shilton disconsolate. And Protasov, who just come on as sub, makes certain. All the hard work done again by Blokhin. Protasov started that with the header, but look where he goes now, right across to the far side, and as Shilton parries, he's on hand to score. So Bobby Robson will now suffer his 4th defeat in 8 games as England manager this season, and the Soviet Union will win at Wembley for the first time in their history. And the 38,000 people on the terraces are making their feelings heard. Hunt. And Haitley with Desaev. And Pozniakov half gets the ball away. Duxbury knocks it back. So England end their season in home matches with another defeat. The two coaches shake hands, but Bobby Robson knows that with 19 players missing, it's very difficult to make a silk purse out of a sow's ear, especially when the Soviet team brought to Wembley some experienced players who on the day proved just too good for what England had available. England were in the match for a while, but they eventually went behind to a goal by Gotsmanov after 53 minutes, and then going into stoppage time, the substitute Protasov made it 2-0. So, as the Soviets celebrate their victory, England go off to their South American tour, still looking for shape, still looking for the way to the future, but most of all, perhaps, still looking for more experienced players who for the moment just aren't around. The score at Wembley at the end of this international, England 0, the Soviet Union 2.